To make room for the Women's NCAA Division III Basketball Championship, the Minnesota State High School League Boys Section 1 basketball playoff games have been bumped from the Civic Center's 5,000-seat Taylor Arena to the Civic Center Auditorium, which seats 2,200. As Guy Limbeck reported in the Post-Bulletin Monday, the high school games are already close to selling out. While sellout games can still be viewed via closed-circuit telecast in Civic Center Ballroom free of charge, some fans feel as though they're getting second-class treatment in favor of the NCAA. Fans are raising a ruckus on social media. Did the Civic Center powers that be displace local fans at the expense of the NCAA? Brad Jones, the executive director of Experience Minnesota's Rochester, the former Convention and Visitors Bureau, says that this conflict over space was anticipated years ago and that all parties were aware of it.
Before we turned in a bid to the NCAA, we all talked about that and had agreement to it. So I think that was 4 or 5 years ago. So it was certainly calculated by all partners. So we discussed that and agreed that we'd put forth a bid. And so everybody was totally on board, and we still are. It's a great opportunity to bring the NCAA to Rochester. And so unfortunately, we only have one facility that we could do it in.
The NCAA Women's Division III Championship is a big deal for the city. It brings in money. Jones says that the estimated economic impact of the weekend is just over $500,000, and national caliber athletes. It also brings a touch of prestige to the city, which lays the groundwork for future big events. Sports is big business for the Civic Center and for the city overall. Last year, the Rochester Amateur Sports Commission said the 102 athletic events that they tracked brought in an estimated $25 million in direct spending and filled up 34,000 hotel rooms. The Section 1 high school tournament is a big deal too. According to Jones, the economic impact of the final weekend is estimated at $292,000. All of the NCAA teams will stay for multiple nights and will be involved in banquets and charity activities throughout the weekend. Plus, all ticket sales go back into the event budget, which is split between the NCAA and the Civic Center. And since Wartburg is in Waverly, Iowa, just 106 miles from Rochester, there's a very good chance that they'll bring in a lot of fans to fill up a lot of seats. For fans who just want to watch the John Marshall Rockets and their star power forward Matthew Hurt, that may be a small consolation. After all, this is our city. Shouldn't our teams get the premier venue? It's a sentiment Ed Ruska, executive director of the Rochester Amateur Sports Commission, can probably sympathize with.
To come here and have the thrill of playing in a big arena with big crowds is something that a lot of them will, I think, enjoy remember the rest of their lives.
If building memories is the goal, the World War II era auditorium is a classic place to watch some basketball. It gets loud, crowded, and exudes an old school, vintage Hoosiers kind of vibe. Smaller schools are into it since it'll give their players a chance to have a concentrated crowd. Bigger schools with rowdier fans like JM and Austin may find the noise levels distracting. It'll be memorable nonetheless. That some fans will have to watch from a ballroom is a shame for sure, but sometimes a fan has to do what a fan has to do. And with high caliber hoops being played in both venues this weekend, fans should have a lot to cheer about, even if it's in front of a giant screen.